And now, your host, Couch Tomato!
Hey, I'm Couch Tomato, and I'm joined by
Hulk.
All right, welcome to Stuff for Movie Buffs, and today we're talking
Wonder Woman.
All right, perfect. Before we even get into all of that, whenever you bring up DC into the mix, emotions are usually involved. So we like to do something family friendly on the show. I need everybody repeat after me and follow these procedures. Put your right hand on your heart, left hand in the air. Repeat after me, guys. Say I. Say your name.
Hulk.
I'm a movie fan.
Am a movie fan.
As a movie fan.
As a movie fan.
I won't get mad.
I won't get mad.
I can't get mad.
I can't get mad.
And I'll keep my anger to myself.
And I will keep my anger to myself.
All right, perfect. If this is your first time listening to the show, we start off every show like that because, like I said, me and Hulk, we're movie geeks, and sometimes movie geeks take movies a little too serious. So at least by saying that, everybody involved in our conversation, at least, they understand not to wear their emotions on their sleeve. And whenever you talk about the movie that we're about to talk about, the franchise in general, it's been kind of a mixed bag of both positive and negative criticism. Mm-hmm. So let's keep it friendly. But if you've never heard of a Wonder Woman and don't know what that is, Hulk, do us a big favor and give us a synopsis of what to expect from this new feature film that's just been released.
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always angry.
All right. Before she was Wonder Woman, she was Diana, Princess of the Amazons, trained to be an unconquerable warrior. Raised on a sheltered island paradise, Diana meets an American pilot who tells her about the massive conflict that's raging in the outside world. Convinced that she can stop the threat, Diana leaves home for the first time. Fighting alongside men in a war to end all wars, she finally discovers her full powers and true destiny, Wonder Woman.
All right, perfect. That sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So we here on the show believe that if you don't have anything nice to say, honestly, you should not say anything at all. So in the spirit of Stuff for Movie Buffs, we like to start it off with 3 things that we loved and hated about the film. Try not to nitpick, Hulk, but let's start off with 3 things that we loved about Wonder Woman. I'll let you do the honors and go first.
All right. The first thing I really liked was that the fish out of water scenes, which I'll explain later. The second thing I liked was Steve Trevor. I thought Chris Pine did a great job. And the third thing
Steve Rogers? Oh, never mind. I'm prefacing a little bit.
The third thing I liked was that it had a message, but it wasn't preachy, which I'll also explain a little bit.
It was actually... Okay, can I go now? Because you said 3 things, and I'm jumping. I'm sorry, but I didn't put this as a like, but they did have a message, and it actually was preachy, but it felt like it tied into that fish out of water thing because she's not used to the way humans do stuff. So she was able to preach without really offending the audience, but nonetheless, I didn't have that as a like. Fighting sequences was good. But Zack Snyder's name is a producer, director. Say what you want about the guy. Like he knows how to film action.
Yeah.
I thought her backstory was awesome. You know me, I hate origin stories. Hate them with a passion. I just believe that they're formulaic. Although this movie it kind of riffs off of Captain America: First Avenger. It is fresh to some degree, especially when you look at the female lead. So her backstory was awesome. So that's number 1, fighting sequence. Number 2, backstory was on point. And number 3, her character has a lot of depth. And I think that's kind of like focusing on what I talked about earlier about this lady's a god and she's used to just people, living upright. And when she's exposed to man, it's like, what? You guys believe what? You guys do what? Oh my God. Who raised you?
Yeah.
So I just like the fact that she wasn't one note. And after watching Batman v Superman, she wasn't my favorite part in that film. That film had a lot of problems, but I actually loved the Bruce Wayne angle and the Batman angle. People were like going crazy over Wonder Woman. I thought she was just okay. But now I have a lot to look forward to her. So I kind of talk too much. But 3 things that we hated. Let me get my stuff out the way first, and I'll kind of like pave the way for you, Hulk. But I saw the twist coming from a mile. There's a twist at the end. I don't want to spell it out, but you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah.
All right, I saw that coming from a mile, but I don't want to say that's a huge dislike because sometimes I know what to look for in movies, and I don't know if a casual fan would have peeped, but Honestly, that's my only dislike, and it really isn't that much of a dislike. So I really had no issues with this movie whatsoever. But go ahead, and if you could squeeze 3 dislikes out of the film, let us know.
Yeah, okay. Like to sort of piggyback on what you're saying, like I wasn't too fan of like the villains. Like I just thought, they didn't really do it for me. And also like I just thought like there was just a few minor editing and pacing scenes. Like there was just a couple times like where I was like, huh? Like, and I thought like they missed something, but I guess it was just the way they cut the scenes. I don't know if you had the same experience I had, but there was just like a few scenes where I was just like, what? I just thought like I don't know, like they missed, maybe had a few miscues here and there, but it was just minor.
You mean you're nitpicking? It's fine. All right, so I think. All right, so let's talk about this Marvel versus DC thing, right?
Yeah.
This little war, this lopsided war that's been going on for the last couple of years. And I guess right now let's discuss how this movie's impacted that war.
Yeah.
Is it a game changer? I don't know, but I'm curious to see what you think. Enlighten me.
It's not a game changer. Like Marvel still has like, I mean, they have so many different storylines, so many different universes that just work well on their own. There was no way DC was just going to come back with just one movie. But it does stop the bleeding, I would say. Like it gives DC a leg up in the fact that this is a female standalone, and then they're the first to actually do it and actually
That's what I'm saying. Nobody's done that before.
Exactly. So it does give them a positional advantage in this long drag out war that geeks and fandom have been so entrenched in. So I give them that.
If Captain Marvel don't bring her A game,
exactly.
A lot of people are going to disagree with you. But yeah, like you said, Marvel is on top right now, right? With a pause, I guess. But a lot of people don't remember, because we're going to compare this to Captain America First Avenger, which isn't anything new. A lot of my fans are kind of expecting that video down the line.
Yeah.
But Marvel wasn't the truth when it first started off with Phase 1. Like a lot of people didn't really give the crown to Marvel until Avengers.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, Captain America First Avenger came out before The Dark Knight Rises came out. And at the time, DC was considered king because of The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
So I always believe that every studio is one movie away from taking that crown. It doesn't matter the resume that you've built. It's always one film that could be a game changer. I'm not going to say this is the one though. So one thing I will say is I told everyone to sit tight. Like I said, it only takes one movie to turn the tide. If you remember, were you a fan of The Last Stand? X-Men: The Last Stand?
Nah, that movie was brutal.
A lot of people didn't like that movie. I was... At the time, I actually didn't have no problems with it. I was like the type of movie buff. I loved everything that came out. I didn't have cable, so I was easy to please, right? But that a lot of people don't like that movie, and they felt that it ended the franchise. But when they came out with First Class, it erased everybody's like memories about the horrible film that was the predecessor being The Last Stand. I like when this movie came out, I don't expect Justice League to be good. And when I saw the trailers for this, I thought it was just going to be okay. I didn't expect it to be great. But I kept telling people, Suicide Squad is horrible. Batman v Superman, you take out Batman, it's horrible, right? And I said, all that to say this, like all DC needs is one movie to make you guys forget about some of the mistakes they've made in the past. I will say that this movie probably doesn't put it neck and neck with Marvel. That's just, you're probably going to need 3 movies under your belt. But at least to make people forget about Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman issues, I think Wonder Woman's done that.
Yeah, because what I liked about this movie, like it took a lot of it made me appreciate like her entrance more with Batman v Superman. Like it added more depth to it. Like because with her entrance now, you just see what she went through and why she, retired or whatever. And for her to come back, you understand like what her mindset was in coming back.
Wait, time out. So you mean she was retired from World War II to the events that I don't know if that's the case.
No, but I mean, like, okay, the world didn't really, because I'm trying to think, because Superman's the first hero, right? He's the first like event like the big, you know what I'm saying? Like his Man of Steel is like the first alien that they
That's the
encountered.
first alien type of ordeal, but I think Batman has been patrolling Gotham
okay.
for years. And I really think that Wonder Woman's probably hasn't been messing with Metropolis in Gotham City like that, but I'm pretty sure she's left her staple across the board,
in the background and stuff.
I think she just wants to be a little bit more discreet.
I get you. I just because just hearing back some of her lines, like while she does mention like she used to want to save the world, but she got tired of man, and then like because even with Batman v Superman, like you see her, she's on the plane, like she's trying to ignore the doomsday scenario, she's trying to ignore that whole situation. But I
think some of that is she was dealing with the Cold War too. Like I think she's been here since World War II, and she had to deal with Cold War. Like No, because you guys did this with Vietnam. You did this with the Cold War. You know what I mean? It's just World War II is supposed to be the war to end all wars, but every 10 years there's something else.
Yeah.
But we digress. Back to Marvel.
Yeah.
This closes the gap, because, and also this makes Zack Snyder a little bit more legitimate. I think this man needs to stay out. It's so refreshing to see his name as producer and not director, because that guy suffers from lack of storytelling. And I really think this is where he showed his strength. Like, get your team together, get the finance right, and produce the film. I don't think you need to be in a director's seat. Yeah, because that's one thing I noticed, I read recently, was just like, he's the one that picked Gal Gadot. Like, throughout all the auditions, she was the one that he chose. People was hating.
A lot of people was hating. A lot.
You were one of those people?
No.
Were you one of those people?
Never. I've been...
Never. Don't say never. All of this stuff is recorded.
You could look. We could get the tapes, get the old episodes. I never hated on Gal Gadot. Like, I always gave her a chance. And
I was a fan of Fast and the Furious 6.
Me too. Me too.
I said, you know what? Put some meat on that. I thought she was skinny, but especially... And even...
But there's nothing the weight room can't fix.
It has to be something CGI related, because even when you see her on the red carpet and stuff.
No, she looks bigger. No, if you look at some of the pictures like from before, like she's way bigger than what she was.
I know she's bigger, but they have to be doing some type of special effects. The way she looks in that skirt looks comic book like. It looks legitimate.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's always CGI in the mix. Always.
All right, but before we go, because all this build up, this movie's doing great on the site that should not be named, right? And it's but I don't think me personally, as a prediction, you could record this. I really don't think Justice League is going to be that good, but also I don't think the first Infinity War is going to be that good. I think they're going to kind of have that same issue that Harry Potter 7 Part 1 had and Hunger Games 3, like where it's building up to the second movie.
Yeah, same Matrix Reloaded, same thing.
Yeah. So, Wonder Woman's good. If you haven't seen it, go take a look. But don't be surprised if you see some other stinkers come out of DC camp. So, 24 reasons this movie should be compared to Captain America: First Avenger versus Wonder Woman. These movies are obviously similar. I don't think it's going to be a surprise if and when I choose to do that video. But let's just go on the assumption that these movies are identical. Let's talk about who did it better.
Okay.
Captain America or Wonder Woman?
Yeah. I personally, I think Wonder Woman did it better. Because like I said, because what I liked is that not only with First Adventure, but she combined some elements with Thor, like with the fish out of water scenes. That was one of the reasons why I really liked the first Thor, because you got to see him in the element, and they took that. And with Wonder Woman,
that's kind of like, but that's like Steve Rogers in. No,
I'm gonna tie it in too. Like those elements really worked in those movies. So she was able to get that aspect, like the comedic timing, all that stuff really worked. And then with First Avenger, like with the period piece, like to me, like I just felt more connected with not just like with the Steve Trevor angle, like with the emotional aspect with the plane. I don't want to spoil too much, but his plane scene I liked more than Steve Rogers.
The one I didn't care about it. Steve Rogers. I mean, I First Avenger is one of my most hated films in the MCU. That's what come on, guys. If you set the creed, don't bash me on this. I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but the dudes that I talk to, I don't ever hear anyone liking that movie until I like, poll the people on YouTube. It's like, I'm like, wow, there's people who like this movie because everyone in my circle hates that movie. And it's like, I watched it in theaters and I left with an attitude. Like, I just felt like I should have, I said, basically this is what I said to myself, like in 2013, whenever that movie came out. No, it was 2011.
Yeah.
That's
no,
not
2011, because I think it was like a year. It was a year before.
Okay,
Avengers.
yeah, because Avengers 2012. So 2013, I basically walked out of the theater saying, "You watch Marvel. Nolan is going to release Dark Knight Rises, and watch. You'll see who's the king." I didn't think of, and because of Captain America: First Avenger, I didn't think Avengers was going to be a good movie. I kept watching the trailer like, it got that that punk from First Avenger in it. I'm straight, but Avengers went on to be my like fourth favorite movie of all time, by the way. But some people love it, some people hate it. I'm one of those people who hate it. I think this film, a majority of the people who watch it will like it. It has, if you like Greek philosophy, it touches some of that. If you like the art of war, or just like, if you like war pieces or time pieces, this film gets what you want. And ethical questions, like I said, I just expected this. It's a female superhero, and the way Hollywood does females, I'm like, they're gonna make this girl a pretty girl in a skirt who could punch. But she brought up a lot of ethical questions that you expect to hear from Superman.
Yeah.
So she had Superman looking like a duck in this universe. So this movie, it does a lot for empowering women.
Wait, so you thought it was
without being in your face?
So you thought it was a little preachy though?
Not, but I think it works. Kind of like with Thor.
Okay.
When Thor basically talks about man and some of their issues, it's very preachy. Like where he talks about issues with mankind, but it doesn't sound preachy coming from him because that's something that his character would say with him being a god.
Yeah.
This woman is an Amazonian princess, and she's tasked to actually protect man. And she grew up thinking that man was made in the likeness of Zeus in this universe, right?
Yeah.
So when she first understands like, wow, she's helping Steve out. What's her boyfriend's name?
Yeah, Steve,
right? All right, just making sure. She's helping Steve out, and she realizes his people stole land from the Indians.
Yep.
So it's kind of like the lesser of two evils, and she's helping out. So it's like, wait, you guys are just as bad as the German? Wait a minute,
exactly.
All you guys are bad.
And
it's crazy.
The
so
other
it's
scene
like,
too, like when she's talking to the actor, and he was just like, "Yeah, I was just born the wrong color." I was like, "Dang!" Like,
so she has to. So yeah, she's preaching.
Yeah,
like, she's basically a legitimate social justice warrior. It's just not in your face because you understand. Oh no, she's a fish out of water. She's been protected from racism. She's been protected from prejudice all her life, right? So now when she's actually bringing it up and she's telling you what's just and what's not, you understand. Like no. She studied books all her life, so she's not preaching.
Yeah,
she's speaking her truth. And I thought it was very preachy, like, but I don't think anyone's gonna have a problem with it, especially the mouthpiece they use to like preach. So Captain America, I think you get the thumbs down in this category, even if you like Captain America.
Like you didn't have any connection, like you didn't really see the evil of like Hydra or Nazism, or you know what I'm saying, or the
you did to a degree, because remember, he was the only reason he was even able to take the serum is because and make it effective is because he was so pure. So he was similar to Diana in that case. Mm-hmm. But I just think this film did it better. And keep in mind, they have the luxury of going up to bat after the first Avengers. True. So they looked at some things that movie could have done differently, and they employed it in this movie. But I'm anxious to hear. I think a majority of people will side with me in thinking that Wonder Woman is the stronger film. But hey, let's poll those guys and just let us know on the Facebook page. Last question of the day, right? What does this film tell you about upcoming DC movies? I include Easter eggs or whatever, or just predictions of what you feel will happen with the next series of films in this universe.
Like, I hope.
Spoiler, by the way, because
spoiler alert. Like, I hope, like, because I know if you watch like the Justice League trailer, there's like a epilogue, like where you see like fighting like the parademons. Like, I really hope like Robin Wright makes a cameo in that scene, like where you see her like, in action, fighting, some of those scenes. And like, I hope like they tie in some of like the dark side mythology with Wonder Woman.
Well, I think the dark side mythology is coming anyway because we saw that in Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
But just sticking with this film, I think definitely, I don't know, is there any question that Bruce is going to smash?
It's like it's now 2 movies in now. You know what I'm saying? Like where they're
It's like
establishing
it's coming
that,
because in some universes, Clark's the one that,
yeah.
that I guess the flowers, the Amazonian princess. But in this one, sometimes I remember off the cartoon, Bruce was the one that got her, and it's like I think it's Bruce is sending this chick printed Instagram pictures in the mail
Exactly.
by way of Wayne Enterprise security vehicles.
Yeah, he could have just sent that.
definitely-
Like he couldn't use Amazon Prime. Like he really had.
Oh my God! You would think Amazon for Amazonian princess,
For real.
but maybe it's a little bit too much on the nose. So also they have a lot in common, except Wonder Woman has a stronger moral compass.
Yeah.
But they both hate evil. They understand that being evil is a choice, and once you make that choice, it's time to die. Because I think that's the conclusion she came to at the end. It's like, well, people choose to be evil, but that choice there exists. So people aren't naturally born pure. And I think they both hate evil with a passion. So I think we're in agreement that that's going to be Bruce's old
for
lady.
sure, because they're going to be establishing the Justice League together. Like that's without a question.
I didn't even know if that was established that well. They just went to a funeral together. I wouldn't call that a first date, but I thought they were going to okay, Bruce. I don't know if they're going to say Bruce is, her age range or something. I didn't know what they wanted to do, but I'm like,
but she's like a million years old. So technically,
exactly.
Yeah. So
Bruce is actually, the younger one. So he dates older women. Also, I don't think it's a mistake that she's nicknamed the God Killer. And what's the closest thing to a god in this universe currently, other than Wonder Woman?
Superman.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be the one to choke the mullet Superman in Justice League. You remember the the Doomsday storyline?
Yeah, he comes back evil, right? For the first.
Yeah, with a mullet too.
Yeah.
A shag that'll, put I forgot his name, Joe Dirt to shame. But basically, I think they're going with that storyline because on Batman v Superman, how they had him buried at the end in the fake death. So I think they're gonna have to kill him to some degree. I don't know if you're killing one version of Superman, but I think Wonder Woman is gonna have to be that the god.
Because it ties into to Dark Side because he's supposed to be under Dark Side's control, like the way they do it.
Yeah. And my last prediction, wait. So what happened to her mother?
She's still in Themyscira, I think.
They're still chilling in Themyscira, right?
Yeah.
And I wrote this prediction because I haven't really studied the Justice League trailer like you have. But you said the Amazonian warriors are fighting the dark side little butterfly thingy. So
yeah,
is it present day or is it showing it as like a past tense kind of thing?
Past tense type thing.
Okay, I really think those Amazonians are they're tasked with protecting mankind. So when they're in need, obviously. So I don't think her mother's dead, but I think her mother might actually make a present day cameo in the future, films. Maybe not Justice League, but
Wonder
like a
Woman
Justice
2?
League 2 when Darkseid comes.
Or that too, yeah.
Yeah, so I really think that she may not know how to get back to Themyscira, and it would be a nice little plug if they could actually call on Aquaman to locate the island, and they could use some kind of Bermuda Triangle type storyline or whatever. But that's just me kind of thinking a little too deep. But I just want to see those warriors again. That's just me.
Oh yeah, they were, and I like the diversity within it. It was beautiful.
It is awesome. They fixed some of Hollywood's problems overnight.
Yeah, huge
with that casting. I'm just like, what? That movie's not supposed to be successful because it's you got a female hero, you got diversity, you got
female director.
You got black people surviving.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, what? Are you trying to lose money at the box office? I don't get it, but and I had to check one of my frat brothers because they had problems with the film, right? And I don't. You know what? Say some more of your predictions, and I'm gonna look up our conversation, and I'm gonna read to you his issue with the film, and I'll kind of tell you my rebuttal. But go ahead and I guess give me some more of your predictions.
Oh, with me? Oh,
yeah.
That was my main one. Also, I think she's gonna continue to be the heart of the DCEU. Like I thought it was gonna be Superman, but it looks like she's gonna carry like the hero mantle, like sort of like the way Cap has it with the MCU. Like she's gonna.
I think it's gonna be Batman.
You think? I really think they're gonna go with her because she already has like that. Like to me, she already fulfilled like that hopefulness, that, you know what I'm saying, like that hero type.
Time out. And you kind of looking through a skewed version of reality. Like some people don't agree with Steve Rogers' logic. So the idea of a perfect leader.
No, but
now this you're having a Civil War debate all over again, because I was Team Iron Man, and now you're trying to put Steve Rogers on the mantle like he's.
So you don't think like he's like the conscience of the MCU? Like you don't think?
I don't agree with a lot of his mistakes that he's done so far. So this is gonna start a whole nother debate. I'd rather end off on a friendly note. I think Batman
like
represents what actually brought them together in the first place. Yeah, so let's keep it civil here. No pun intended. But I think Batman will be the central, and he's also the strongest.
No, I'm not
actor
saying he won't be
of,
like the leader or anything like that. But I just feel like
leader, and I think he's gonna be like the central and integral part of the universe. But seeing what Gal Gadot did gives me more hope for Man of Steel. Like before Batman v Superman came out, Man of Steel was my third favorite comic book movie of all time. This is 2013. A lot of things have been released since. I had Days of Future Past really high on that list as well, but it wasn't a popular opinion. I just grew up hating Superman. A lot of people never liked him. I just think that like he just represented a lot of what was wrong with society. Just kind of like, I don't know, the perfect boy who really got some issues because he's a liar, but he I don't want to get into it, but I had issues growing up with Superman, right? Excuse me, I had issues with Superman growing up. Pause, just in case. But after Man of Steel, I was like, wow, I like this character because he don't know no better. It makes perfect sense that a guy would get his powers in his 20s and not know how to use them properly. So, and I like the fact that they weren't giving him a secret identity. He's a nomad. Like he has to travel from place to place as a wanderer, right? But then when they made Batman v Superman, I'm like, you know what? Everything that I loved about Man of Steel, I hate now because I realized that a lot of my predictions didn't come to fruition, right? And also, Henry Cavill isn't your strongest thespian. He's not the best actor in the world, right? And that's why I think sometimes they hide him with that by not giving him lines. But after seeing Gal Gadot, and she's not your strongest actress either. Like I love those Fast and the Furious movies, but it's not because of the acting. And seeing what she was able to do in this film, it gives me hope that they could fix some of the issues that I currently have with the Man of Steel.
Yeah, I guess I don't have the same issues I have with Man of Steel, but I will say this: like this movie, how you say that? Like raises. I'm trying to think of the saying, like where it raises all the tides of
raises.
Saying all these movies. Like it makes.
I don't think that's a phrase. But
it's something like that.
Don't.
I got it. A rising tide raises all.
You should have just Googled it, but it's fine. But I can't find the exact message, right? But this was their criticism. I'll say this and then we'll head out. So this was their criticism about this movie. They said it didn't have a lot of action. They kept falling asleep. I said that's a lie.
Nah.
I said keep in mind, comic book movies are formulaic. Prior to Captain America: Winter Soldier, this was the formula for comic book movies. You have a training sequence, then you have a battle where the hero fights the henchman. You have a battle where he loses to the hero. Then you have a battle where he beats the hero. But you're looking at 3 action sequences and a training sequence, right? Almost every comic book movie followed that to a T. But then when Captain America: Winter Soldier came out, that movie had like 10 action sequences. Yep. Right? So now you see Age of Ultron and all these other movies, they fill it up with action scenes. So this movie actually rivals Captain America: Winter Soldier in the amount of action sequences, because he said there was no action. He said it took too long to get to the action. I said, well, first 2 minutes, you already got a scene on Themyscira with the training sequence. That gives you some action. 5 minutes later, you have a training sequence where Wonder Woman is actually training and fighting some of the Amazonians. 2 minutes later, you have the people of Themyscira fighting the Germans, right? Then probably 15 minutes down the line, she's fighting in an alley against some henchmen, right? 15 minutes down the line again, you have the trench.
Yeah, no man's land.
On the the war zone that leads into a town square. You're probably looking at 10 minutes of action there. If you hold on for a little bit, maybe it's less than 20, right? She ambushes the after the bombing or whatever, she ambushes the camp. And it's one against tens of German soldiers, right? And then between that, she has the fight one-on-one with the secondary bad guy, while Chris Pine and those guys handle the other guys in the loading up the planes. After that, she fights the real villain, and then I'm like, come on, man, you have 2 training sequences, 7 action set pieces. Like right now, I'm like, I'd never put that sexist card, but you tripping right now, And then after I kind of like displayed the movie form like that, I said, this movie, if you want action, this movie is well paced. You mentioned some issues about pace, but it was more editing. But I'm like, nah, you get some philosophy, but then you get action right after it, so you're not bored. You know what I mean? If you want eye candy, if you coming just to see Wonder Woman in the skirt, you get that too. But if you want beauty and brains, the words coming out of her mouth are pretty philosophical. You know what I mean? So I don't really have an issue with this movie, but I don't expect a lot of people to either.
Yeah,
but
and
to
if you
each
look at, and especially as an origin story, like to me, it had perfectly enough. If you watch Batman Begins, like there's really not that much action. It's just a bunch of the training sequences, and then
I know that movie came out prior. Like I said, it was formulaic. Spider-Man, Wolverine, and all them them X-Men movies. Same thing. You train, then you fight, you lose, then you fight and you win. It's the same thing over and over. But this movie's totally different. So let's end it there. Guys, it's about that time. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. Before you leave, if you like what you heard, make sure to share this with a friend, this podcast with a friend on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, or wherever you go for your podcast. Don't let this be the last time we hear from you or you hear from us. Support the show by giving us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, guys. It would really mean a lot. Also, don't forget to join us next week. Check the show notes on where to find us weekly. It's Couch Tomato Films on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and Couch Tomato Film on Twitter. Other than that, peace.